Well, as you know, the theme of this conference is that spirit of that we different speakers from different faith background presented their perspective, their experience and all that. Well, as a Hindu, I would like to say, quote one thing, यद छिपाना जानता तो जग मुझे नेता समझता. In case, if I would be a political leader who could hide his feelings for any political reasons, it would have been different. I'm going to bring the facts about persecution of Hindus. As you know, Hinduism is the most ancient religion on earth, which has been practiced by people, and still it is being practiced about 1 billion people around the world. India has been the seat or the center of Hinduism. The culture, recently they have found with the Oceanic Survey of India in 2001, 2 cities in the Gulf of Khambat, about few miles from the shore of Dwarika, and they found the artifacts, the potteries and all that. That is, all those things have been dated about 12,000 years old. When there was so far, we have not heard any from archaeological surveys that there was any city was existing that long back. One thing about, we have the basic Hindu scriptures, they are called Ved Samhita. Ved means knowledge, as the scientific knowledge, technological knowledge, all those things can be used and benefited by anyone, regardless of your religion, regardless of nationality. In the same way, the knowledge, the Vedas, the city that was meant for all the human beings. Hindu religion is the unique religion in the sense that there is no founder. It has evolved in passage of time. And the language of our scriptures is the Sanskrit that belongs to the Indo-European. From the same family you will find Greek and Latin. There are certain things about the tenets of Hindu religion. I will just pass it. There is a constraint of time. What is persecution? To harass, ill-treat, or punish persistently in manner designed to injure, annoy, humiliate, or subjugate people because of their religion, race, gender, political belief, or sexual orientation. In short, to harm constantly others with words or actions based upon differences. I will give a little bit. The demography of India, 2011 census. Hindu, 74.33%, Muslim, 14.20%, Christian, 5.84%, Sikh, 1.86%, and other 3.27%. Total population is 1,000,189 millions. India is the world's most ethnically diverse nation with 2,500 distinct people groups. Social foundation. In Vedic period, society was based on the Varna. Depend upon the aptitude of the profession, a person can join or can start working in any one of the fields. The teachers were the Brahmins, and the administrators, the warriors were the Kshatriyas, the business people community were the Vaisyas, and the people artisan or the service community was the lower caste. That is, but later on, what actually happened? This, because in one family in those days, there could be a person, a teacher, it could be a warrior, administrator, could be a businessman, could be a farmer. In a similar way as you will find in our modern society, if you look around, you will find in one family there are people of different profession. There is a flexibility, there is a choice, there is an alternative was provided to the people depending upon the physical, mental, and spiritual capabilities or potentialities. But what actually happened? Later on, because of the greed, because the hunger of power, for the short-sightedness, that was all institutionalized, consolidated in birth. And from there, the actual deterioration and destruction of the Hindu community started. And although all the three upper classes were mistreating other people of the lower caste, but Brahmins were singled out because they were responsible for writing the books. In the books, all the books were filled with biases, prejudices, hatred for the people. And because of this thing, the people of lower caste, for centuries and centuries, they suffered humiliation, they were insulted. There was no human rights for those people. Not only that, they were not allowed to go to the religious centers. This kind of cruelty that was inflicted, persecution within the religion. I'm not talking from the people who came from outside, who persecuted. Within the religion, this kind of treatment, the worst treatment, which was given to inflicted the injuries upon the own Hindu community, created enormous social problems and evils. And that went on. Now, there is the advent of invasion. You know the history all about. I will just only pick up a couple of dates. From the Muhammad bin Qasim in the 8th century, he conquered the Sindh, and the temple was all destroyed. All the people were who opposed him, they were killed. The women and the children were enslaved. Muhammad Ghaznavi, 1026 AD, famous. He killed 50,000 infidels. Killing was based upon religious fanaticism and greed. I'm quoting from Wikipedia, Mahmud of Ghazni. Then Mahmud of Ghor. He's in 1192. Genghis Khan, Mongol, several invasions, but all were found outskirt of the Delhi, and he conquered those places. All that is, I'm not going to give the details. Timur attacked 1398, and he focused on his two policies, imperialism and Islamization. Babur, founder of Mughal dynasty in April 1526. And in his Baburnama, you will find the description how in the Panipat battle, the people who were there killed, the temples, the Humayun, they were killed. The Ayodhya Babur Masjid, where there was a temple, I'm quoting from the Archaeological Survey of India in 2003, found the fragments of temple under the masjid. That was not only that, there were so other temples were destroyed, and on the place of that, mosques were built. Aurangzeb, in 1658, he became the emperor. The very name of Aurangzeb seems to act in the popular imagination as a signifier of politico-religious bigotry and repression, regardless of historical accuracy. He was a fanatic religious person who applied his power vehemently to convert Hindus to Islam. He ordered his subedars to demolish the schools. I'm quoting the Mughal of India from Expedia. The execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur bear testimony of Aurangzeb's deep hatred for for non-Muslims. 1,000 Brahmins were killed or converted. It goes on, the story. And then the Nadir Shah, March 1739, he sacked the city of Delhi. He ordered for Qatl-e-Aam, mercilessly killed to all people. Houses were burned, shops were looted, Persian troops raped women and slaughtered the people. 30,000 people within 4 hours in Delhi were killed. Hardly you will find this kind of cruelty anywhere in the world. This I'm quoting, it is all historical facts, I'm quoting from the books. It is not imaginary thing. Then there comes the British Christianity. Conversion is a kind of subtle persecution. It is based upon the superiority of one religion on another. Saint Thomas, he came in 8th century, he was well received, there was no problem. And later on, you will find some of the Christian scholars like Max Muller, Annie Besant, Mary Baker Eddy, all believed Hindu principles, ekam sad vipra bahuda vatanti. Truth is one, but the interpretation are different. This went on, this thing, and then came the, after conversion, the Reform movement. There was some Brahma Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, Arya Samaj, Ramakrishna, and other people, all they brought the movement there to the caste, to get rid of the caste, get rid of this untouchability, and they treat the people nicely. And then after participation, after independence, reservation quota was fixed to uplift. The education quota is there in the parliament, in the assemblies, in the engineering, medical, every college, roughly about 50% quota is there for the people from low caste who can get good education and can do good. And there is now ethnic cleansing in Kashmir. During 89 and 90, jihad was made a big slogan by fundamentalist Muslims. Since March 1990, between 5 million to 7 million native Hindu Pandits migrated outside Kashmir and became refugees in their own majority Hindu nation. Where in the world in history you can find the majority religion of a people are living in the same country as a refugee, but it happened there in all that. There, now I will come to the neighboring stations, the last one. There has been conversion is a big problem that has created, and there has been animosity. People, especially with the Christians, they have been converting. Some of the places, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, who were the majority Hindus, now 2011, census is telling that it is all have been reduced. The same thing problem in having Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka. Now, I will just conclude these things with history, what we have learned, we have heard about all that thing. We learned one thing, that, well, if we start treating others based on this kind of differences of religion or other things, definitely we cannot think of peace on earth. Hinduism is based upon the non-violence. We respect all religions. We think that these are the ways. We believe in Seva Parmo Dharma. Service is the supreme religion on earth. We have to treat, and with that, I would like to see that Hindus is still surviving and going on with that faith and trying to become friend and friendly, love, respect for each and every. Thank you very much.